Then, alrighty.
Do you want to count though?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1, go. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the start of the Star Wars Power Hour. This is one of two games that's going to happen. This is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. And this first level has a lot of execution and just general playing as fast as possible. So, I'm going to be kind of focused on that for the most part, but the main thing with Hoth is that you just need to kill enemies as quickly as you can. So it's going to involve a lot of taking out enemies in specific order and just mashing as quickly as I can. So that's phase 2. And you want to take out the enemies in the order of however longest to shortest death animations. And so the AT-ATs are introduced in this phase. We're playing on easy, so the fastest way is to actually shoot them by doing damage to their head. It's a lot slower to try and use the tow cables, but if you were doing a 100% run, you would want to do that because that counts for challenge points. But again, this is any percent, so we're just going to be beating as quickly as we can.
Good job, road group. We still need to buy more time.
This is the trickiest of the 4 phases, in my opinion. Because there are a couple of different scenarios that can happen. You just need to be able to be ready to adapt to whatever it gives you. And I got bounced around by some enemy attacks. It's kind of annoying, but there isn't a whole lot you can do if that happens. It's a little bit of randomness to it. And speaking of randomness, one of the things is what movement patterns the AT-STs take. That just kind of determines how you are going to go ahead and do the 4th phase. Alright, so we're just going to do enough damage so that when we crash into him, it kills him. And that was Hoth. That was actually a pretty good start, I think. Oh yeah, so now that we're done with this level, I can explain the game a little more. So I'm playing Shadows of the Empire. This is the PC version of the game. It was re-released on GOG last year on May the 4th. And it is pretty much the same game as the N64 version with some minor differences, and I'll go more into that when it's relevant. So the main movement we're going to be doing with dash, which is most of the game, is diagonal movement because it's a little bit faster. Shoutouts to Glassnock because he's the one who kind of did the math to figure that out. Figure out what kind of movements were the fastest. In the N64 version, you wouldn't do that because you'd be using gaining speed by using neutral reset tricks with the N64 controller, but it's not really relevant here since it's the PC. The biggest thing you'll notice is that I'm playing it in a widescreen aspect ratio, and it's running at a smooth 60 frames per second, which is more than I can say for the N64 version. That alone makes it really good, but other than that, this is actually a pretty terrible port of the game. Came out a year after the original game came out for the N64. I know a lot of people played it on the N64. I never actually played the PC version until it was re-released. And we used to run it on the N64 primarily, but it's much faster on PC. And the main reason for that is the original PC release was on a 16-bit installer, so getting it to run on modern computers is kind of a task. But GOG luckily made it so you could run it flawlessly on modern PCs by re-releasing it, so good on them. I haven't been really saying much because there's not a whole lot to talk about in this level. It's pretty straightforward. Just moving pretty quickly. We collect seekers throughout the level. We want to have 15 by the time we get into the boss room, because we will be using 5 of them for the boss and then 10 for another boss later on. And yeah, these walls are separating. We just need to get to the other side. Nothing too special. Again, this level's pretty straightforward. Not too much going on. We are going to face the first boss. So the way the game works is every boss kind of has a weapon that's best against it, and also it has usually both bosses have a certain area where they take more damage than any other. and for the ATST it's its mouth, and right between the mouth and the neck. And a plus to the PC version of Shadows of the Empire is because the frame rate's so much faster than it normally is, damage values are a lot higher. So bosses will die a lot quicker, enemies will die a lot quicker, your weapons will do more damage. It's pretty nice. All I gotta do is clear out these guys, and we're out of here. Alright, so now we're going on to one of the more boring levels of the run, and it's also a shame because it's not only boring, but it's also whether or not you save time is pretty much dictated entirely by luck. Because you have to take out a number of TIE fighters and TIE bombers, and how many spawn at a time is kind of random. Actually, it's not kind of random, it's totally random. They can either spawn in waves of 3 or 4 at a time, and where they spawn will be random, which enemy, or whether it's a TIE bomber or a TIE random. This is just a lot of nonsense, and make the time for this level vary. So it's a pain when you're trying to get a better run for this game, and it comes down to grinding for a good start and then getting good luck here. There are a couple of other elements of RNG in the game, actually it's quite a bit, but what the heck, they just... Okay, they're not supposed to do that. The TIE fire close range, they decided to do it from way the hell over there. That's kind of weird. But yeah, there's not really much to explain. You just shoot the enemies, and you don't really get to save or lose time until the very last, like, few waves of enemies, and how fast you kill them. You just kind of have to kill them as they come right now, because enemies are gonna spawn in regardless, if you kill them right away or not. Also, you see all these asteroids flying around. Sometimes the TIE fighters will fly right into them and crash, you know, the best pilots in the Imperial Academy. And you also see those red asteroids in the distance. Those are what we shoot down for challenge points, but again, this is any %, so we don't need to do that. And sometimes enemies will spawn in really inconvenient locations, either really high or really low, and you can't actually shoot them. It doesn't happen too often, and it's annoying when it does. So far it feels like I'm getting pretty, like, average luck. It's hard to tell because it's just doing the same thing over, not really paying attention to time. The most annoying thing that can happen is if you get towards the case I'm saying earlier, there's an asteroid right there, they flew right into it. But, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. With spawns, if you get rookie, you can get a spawn pattern where your sortly is, instead of getting 2 or TIE bombers, you'll get 1. Or you'll get like 1 or 2 TIE fighters as the very last wave. That's really bad luck, so you want to hopefully not get that. So now we're going on to everyone's favorite level of the game, or Mantell, also known as the Hype Train, and I call it the Hype Train because it is an auto-scroller that lasts about 8 minutes. So yeah, fun stuff. There's absolutely no way to speed this up or skip it. The only way you can make it faster is if you play on higher difficulty, but higher difficulties in this game are really bad, really poorly designed, and most levels are actually pretty borderline. So yeah, this is a junkyard. I'm gonna jump over these things. If there's ever been a chance during the run for you to take a break, this is the time to do it. So if you need to go grab some popcorn, maybe wash your hands, blow your nose, you know, beat somebody, you know, because you're just so angry about something, this is the time to do it. But if you want to just stick around in the meantime, I'm going to lay down some interesting trivia for the game. So, the game itself is actually loosely based off of a Star Wars novel called Shadows of the Empire. And I say loosely because about over half the things that happen in this game are not even remotely related to Shadows of the Empire, the novel. So it's kind of interesting that they took a bunch of other random elements that happened in this and turned it into the rest of the game. And yeah, as a matter of fact, like, the novel is radically different overall as far as progression goes versus how it does in the game. Also, the PC version is it has CGI rendered and has voice act. You are never going to see them, and thank God you will them in the run because they are absolutely awful. What else can I say about this? Oh yeah, if you manage to unlock the frame rate on this game, the game can run at like several hundred FPS, and it makes everything go really fast, but it also makes everything like impossible worth it. What else is there to say about this? Like I said earlier, we used to run this game on N64. The original run submitted to CU was like back in 2010 by a guy named Alec Kermit. Shoutouts to him because he did a lot of the original routing for single segment. But we ran on the N64 for a while until the PC version was released, and then we figured out pretty early on that it was faster than the N64. I managed to get a time that was faster than the N64 world record really quickly, and that was without optimization, and once a bunch of other people jumped on the PC version, the game just got a lot faster. So, yeah. I think of else, so yeah, but shoutouts to Flickerform, who has the world record on the N64 version. Even if it's slower, it's a really good run. It's very hard to contest if you ever decide to run it on N64. If you do, why would you do that? But the current world record for 80% is held by Glassnog, who also ran this at AGDQ this year. And other shoutouts I just want to say is to Lifelike, Almac, BMac Attack 64, Laris Villain. Who else is a runner of this game? I might be missing a couple people, but those are the ones that come to mind. Oh yeah, and shoutouts to Striker for just being a cool guy. Yes, this is the rework for DE Train. It's looking pretty dope. So yeah, we're still not done with the train. Is there anything else I can say about this? Oh yeah, for those who are not aware, this game is not canon. It never realistically was, and now that like Disney's doing all that stuff with Star Wars, it's now even further away from being canon. The main character's name is Dash Rendar. He is a smuggler, I believe. Yeah, something like that. He knows Han Solo, and he pilots a ship called the Outrider, which is not the Millennium Falcon. I think what else I can even say. Yeah, this is the most exciting part of the Star Wars Power Hour, which the Power Hour, if you're not familiar with units of time in the metric system, the Power Hour is it's just over an hour, and usually there's like give or take a few minutes, but that's what will be happening. It'll be a Power Hour full of Star Wars. Isn't that exciting? Also, there hasn't been a genuinely good Star Wars game in a long time. The only Star Wars game I've played recently is Galaxy of Heroes, and that game's actually fucking terrible, but it's still fun, and I hate that I'm playing it. Oh god, I almost just lost my jump input. That would have actually been terrible. You can't save time on this part of the level, but if you die, you lose time, and it's embarrassing. And, naturally his body's going to ascend to the heavens. Just kidding, heaven doesn't exist in Star Wars. Only the Force. You become a Force Ghost when you die. Oh man. So chat, what is your favorite Star Wars video game? And if you've never played a Star Wars video game, what is your well, actually no, you don't have an opinion on this matter at this point. I'm just asking about Star Wars games. You know, I almost made that comment, but I didn't want to be too edgy. Even though my name is the Psychoripper.
Jump to the next turbo train. I'm shutting off the auto brake.
Alrighty. So this train ride's almost over, but I need you guys to focus because this is a very important part of the ride. Alrighty, so this is IG-88. This boss fight can go one of two ways. One is really good, the other way is really awful. So let's just hope that we flip the coin and it lands on heads. And this did the unexpected third option where IG-88 visits its home planet. And he just killed me by walking into me. What an inconsiderate guy. Alright, so this is going to take a lot longer than it realistically needed to. That was unfortunate. Oh shit, I missed, didn't I? Yeah, this is going to take forever. Holy crap. I missed two of my Seekers. I don't even think there's any Seekers on this map. Maybe there is. No, there isn't. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Fuck this guy. Alright, so that was a terrible boss fight. That was like everything that could go wrong and then multiplied by like 4. But now we're going on to the longest ground level that isn't a train. This is Gall Spaceport. This level's pretty cool. It's pretty big. You also get the jetpack in this level later on, which is a pretty cool item. The downside is that this gigantic rock-based planet has horrible physics that feel more like ice than they do rocks or sand or whatever the hell you are stepping on right now. And hopefully you don't get to see why that is, because it's annoying if it happens. Multiplied by 88, I should have said that. That was a good one. Alright, so first one's locked. Yeah, we're on this planet to go try and find Boba Fett. This isn't anything related to the actual story of the novel, as I mentioned before. Alright, so go here carefully. Also, this level has a sand wampa, which is like a regular wampa, except it's darker, and we're probably not going to actually see it normally, so since we didn't get to see what a regular wampa looks like, hopefully we can just pass by real quick. Look at that guy, isn't he cuddly? Isn't he? Don't you just want to give him a hug? By the way, I appreciate all the answers to the favorite Star Wars games, guys. Oh Jesus, I'm floating. That was weird. This game just comes up with new ways to be cool. Every single time I play it. Where is... Okay, there. Normally he's, like, visible. Alright, so luckily we didn't slide off the edge. That was what I was mentioning earlier. Sometimes physics just don't work on this cliff, and you can just slide off the edge and, like, die. So we want to be a little careful with our health, because we want it to be low, but we don't want to die before we get here. Alright, I'm gonna go for a risky strat, because why not? Yep, there we go, worth it. Alrighty, so we wanted to die there so we could get here faster. It's faster to die than it is to wait on the platform to come back. And there's 3 different ways you can set it up. How risky you're feeling, or where your health is. Like, if it's really high, you can just fall off the cliff and die. If it's like around 11, you can jump off and hit the floor and it'll kill you. Or if you have decent enough health, you can also have the enemy kill you, but that's a really risky strat.
Activate.
There's not really a very active scene for Bounty Hunter. It's got some cool tricks though, but there's a lot of really random things in the game, and some of the levels are just awful from what I've seen. So now we have the jetpack, and we're gonna fly across this canyon. So one other advantage to the PC version over the N64 version is that you can manage your fuel economy on the jetpack a lot better. Like, it costs less to use it to go further, which is kind of nice for this section. Made that a little early. I hope that's not going to be a problem. What game is this? I don't know. I feel like they stream probably says it on there, and it probably says it in the stream broadcast title as well, but in case you were curious, this is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Is a game where you are playing as Dash Rendar, and you are shining light upon the shadows of the Empire so that their evil plans will be foiled. So this is a cool glitch you can do right here, where you can just zip upward with the jetpack. You'll see an even more extreme version of that here in just a second. Yeah, I deliberately leave fog off, which is an option on the PC version, to just show off how bad the draw distance is. Again, this isn't a very good port, so they didn't optimize it for PC, they just kept it at the N64 optimization. As far as like draw distance and stuff goes. So yeah, we're gonna go in here and just trigger a checkpoint. But pay very close attention to what Dash Rendar is doing. That zip is known as the dead fish glitch. I can't remember who came up with the name. I think Stryker told me that Zost came up with that name for it. But yeah, it basically allows you to zip along walls with a jetpack. And that lets you go really high, and this is going to allow us to warp straight to the boss section of this level, where we'll be facing against a character you might see occasionally in a Star Wars video game. You may have seen him once or twice. And that's Boba Fett. And we're gonna really hope that Boba Fett gives us good luck here, because he can do one of 2 things. And he did the one of the 2 things that I wanted, where he just stays still and takes damage, otherwise he will just fly around and it takes a while to kill him. And this is his prized possession, the Slave One, the greatest ship ever. And we're just gonna blow it up instantly. Alright, so coming up here is the other great level in this game, which is Mos Eisley and Beggar's Canyon. Conceptually, though, this level is actually really cool. It's just the design of it is so incredibly claustrophobic that it's like there's too much tight corridors and turns and stuff, and you're going way too fast. It just sucks. So maybe claustrophobic isn't the word I'm looking for here, but it's just it's annoying. You basically just need to go as fast as you can, but one thing you won't catch, unless you know the game, is on the easy difficulty there's a glitch where if you kill the first enemy and then never kill any other enemy in the level, they will all just kind of freeze at one point. And that's kind of because easy one basically makes it so the enemies slow down for you so you can attack them one at a time, rather than having to go super fast to kill them. And for whatever reason, some like bugs out with it, whenever you don't kill them at a certain point, they just kind of all wait for you. So yeah, we don't have to worry about killing any of them. This level is just, it's really fast, and when it's done, like, clean, it looks really cool, but it's a really annoying thing. I'm also playing on mouse and keyboard entirely, and the mouse controls for controlling this thing are really something else. They're not the worst thing you'll ever use, but they're not the best thing either. So now we just gotta dash through Beggar's Canyon, try to avoid hitting walls. If you know the pattern of Beggar's Canyon, it's pretty easy to avoid colliding into a wall and slowing down. And that's not really much to say. It just kind of comes down to muscle memory. Did somebody not fix the estimate? Oh my goodness, you guys are killing me. Much like this hole just killed me right there. So this is the Ring of Judgment. This is where all good Mos Eisley runs go to die. You either make it into that thing or you just sink into the hole and just blow up. It's great. It's really finicky geometry, so it's kind of hard to fit your way through. Alright, so I'm deviating from the normal route for a bit to grab the flamethrower, and the only reason I'm grabbing that is because the flamethrower is cool. If you have enough plasma ammo, you don't need to get this, which I do have enough, but again, flamethrower is a pretty cool weapon. But this is a Sucrosa. This is kind of a cool level. You know that cool jetpack you got at the beginning of, or halfway through Gall Spaceport? Yeah, we don't get to use it in this level. And that's a good thing, because otherwise the level design would be really broken for the last, like, half of it. On top of that, there's obviously, like, no place to actually use the jetpack, so it would be pointless anyways. So our main thing with this level is we just need to find an Imperial supercomputer, I think. We have to go through this annoying sequence of conveyor belts. By the way, the inside of this freighter is much bigger and more complex than you would think if you've seen what it looks like normally. Because the actual freighter, like in the cutscene, is like not too much bigger than the Outrider, which is kind of crazy. Alright, so now we're on the last part of this level. There's boxes and doors. Gotta open up specific doors so we can get to the very top. And one of the things I love about the PC version is that the movement is like 8-way, like moving forward and strafing, versus the N64, which is like moving forward and turning. So a lot of platforming is a lot easier to do, and a lot more, like, the movement's a lot more clean, in my opinion. So this is the cool, super awesome Star Wars boss, the Loader Droid. Look at him for a few seconds, because you won't see him for very long. This is what happens when you take a machine that's supposed to work at UPS and turn it into a boss.
You found now.
Alrighty. So we've beaten this level pretty quickly. The third timer fuck up, well, at least we're somewhat consistent, I guess. Alrighty, so now we're going on sewers. Everyone loved this level growing up, I'm sure. I did not mean to change my camera there. Sorry, that was disorienting. I was trying to set up a certain dead fish so I could go downward, but I had a bad position. So yeah, sewer is a pretty fun level. It also has a couple new enemies introduced, which are those guards, which are working for the main villain of the game. The main villain of the game actually isn't even the Empire. It's a guy named Xizor who works for an organization called Black Sun. So yeah, those are the guys who work for him, and there's also going to be another enemy introduced here very shortly. If you played this game growing up, you probably remember this thing. It's just from the noise it makes. Oh, come on, there we go. Bad movement there. Yeah, the sounds those things make is the stuff of nightmares. Alright. So I just kind of gotta make our way down here. Try to avoid as much fall damage as we can. And we gotta get this key in order to get to the next part of the level. You may have noticed there was like a thing of platforms ahead that we didn't go to. It's because there's a gate there that requires a key, which we just picked up to open up. It's actually theoretically possible to do it without it, but if you do that, the textures on the other side don't load, so you can't really see where you're going. So it would be completely pointless. So this is swimming, which we're doing in this level, and this level only. The swimming is not actual swimming, it's using a jetpack underwater. It's pretty innovative. Hello? There we go.
You found the boasting
I'm gonna try to do another dead fish right here. This one's really fast. Oh, it just bounced me, damn. Alright, so because of that bounce, I missed a good cycle on this. So we just need to shoot that in order to open the door. Alright, so this spread of enemies is annoying because where they are is kind of random and it can sometimes take a while to get all of them. But you want to kill them because the downside to these enemies versus like the ordinary stormtroopers is they take a lot more damage to kill and they also deal a lot more damage, so they're overall just more of a pain in the ass to deal with. We also picked up a weapon called the Disruptor. If you're not familiar with what the Disruptor is, it's a weapon that just does a lot of damage in a large space. And we're going to use it on this boss, which is a gigantic Dianoga. I want you to look at this thing. How cute, isn't it? Hopefully I didn't screw this up. And that sound is how you know the boss is dead. So yeah, good boss. In the N64 version, you can actually skip this boss entirely by using the dead fish to get a perfectly perpendicular, like or no, parallel line between the ceiling and dash. You can get enough speed to go through the ceiling and skip this. It's pretty cool, honestly. But you can't do it on the PC version. It's like impossible, mostly because of the frame rate. Alright, so now we're going to Xizor's Palace. This is the last level where we play as Dash on the ground.
There are if you
And it's also one of my favorite levels. It's also got really cool music. The just general design of this level and the aesthetic and everything about it is just so cool to me. There's also some droid enemies right here. These things are actually the worst, because if you're standing at them and they're shooting at you all at once, they will kill you instantly. Also, those little, like, interrogation droids are kind of annoying, too, because they're just really small and easy to miss. Also, I fired a seeker through that window in order to shoot an enemy that's on the other side. Just one less enemy to worry about. Alrighty. Stage complete. Alright, so coming up at the top of this elevator, we're going to pick up another weapon. The stunner. It's the only level we use it. And it's kind of cool. It stuns all living enemies, so any stormtroopers or anything like that will be stunned. Not droids, though. They're exempt. Alright, I'm going to try a little bit risky strat because my health is pretty good. I hope this doesn't backfire on me. So here we have to put different pulse bombs on each of these switches. There's 3 of them. And we're using the stunner just to prevent those enemies from shooting me. It's kind of the one instance where you actually use the stunner in the game. Also, I'm going to stop here to pick up health and some more disruptors for safety. And we're also going to fight the final boss the final, like, boss enemy of the game. It's not, I guess you could technically not call it the final boss, because there's one more thing we have to do in the last level. But I'm going to call it the final boss anyways. This is the Gladiator droid. He has 3 phases. All of which die really easily to Disruptor. Also, that was a beautiful noise, wasn't it? Uh-oh. That's not good. That can sometimes happen. Mech Warrior. Alright. Just want to try and hit him in the head. Got him. Alrighty, and that's Xizor's Palace. So now we are on to the last level of the game. We've got a little bit of a trip to take to get there. I'm just going to try and sneak past all these enemies. If I stay perfectly still, they'll never notice me. Never mind. Alright, so our mission's been compromised, so we have to fight these guys. So, to get to the Skyhook, which is our thing we actually have to go and destroy, which is the final level of the game, is destroying that, we have to sit through another auto-scroller section. It's like, this one's only about 4 minutes. And we can spend as much time as we can trying to destroy as many of these Star Vipers as we can. And it doesn't really matter how many you destroy, it's not relevant. You'll get to the Skyhook the same time anyways. But each 15 that you kill gives you an extra life. And we always have a specific amount we want to kill before it gets to the end. So hopefully we get that. Also, I should mention, if you play this game on Jedi difficulty, this level is legitimately broken because you will spawn in, you'll get in, and immediately like 10 of these will spawn, they will attack you, and you will die in about 5 hits. So, like, the only way to legitimately beat this level is to have, like, a ton of extra lives coming into it, so that they can all get wasted by the time you get to Skyhook. It's really, really crappy, but... Okay, I didn't design the game. Honestly, this game does suffer from serious game design issues, especially on harder difficulties. The plus side with Jedi, though, is if you play the ground missions, your blaster does a lot more damage, which is kind of cool. And the damage is based on the percentage of the blaster, which is also pretty neat. Alright, so let's play a little game, guys. How many Star Vipers do you think I will kill before I get to Skyhook? If you guess correctly, you win a free plane ticket to ESA. And that's not on my hands, it's on the marathon organizers for Hekathon. That's their job. So all you gotta do is guess wrong and they won't have to worry about it. god, that's a bomb. Bomb's a bad choice for close range combat. Two? Okay, well, you're very wrong. Also, that's a Star Destroyer in the distance. We are not actually going to fight that thing. The Empire's kind of pissed because Xizor's been trying to do his own thing and pull the strings of the Emperor. Oh man, I did not get a lot of these. This is not even close to ideal. Yeah, I only got 60. That's pretty awful. I don't think anybody even guessed 60. Alright, so now we're in the last section. We're gonna actually fly the Outrider and stop the Skyhook.
The Empire is attacking Xizor's base, and us.
I need to aim this a little better. The aiming and moving controls on this are really, really, like, terrible, honestly. Also, you can shoot your own, you can shoot any of the ships like that. That's the X-Wing I just shot down. Those are the Rebels. I am officially getting the dark side ending. All you need to do is just kill one of them. But yeah, you can shoot the X-Wings or the TIE Fighters, it really doesn't matter. You don't even really need to actually fight any of them, you just need to take out the turrets and then go inside and blow this core to pieces. Using missiles. And we're doing it this way, it saves us having to go into each tunnel and go back in. Alright, and that's time. That's, yeah. Normally supposed to go in each of those arms of the Skyhook, fly, throw a missile, escape, and then do it again, but if you just fly around the center, you can just shoot the missiles into the core. Alrighty, but yeah, now we're gonna get this great ending. This is why you don't ever want to see the cutscenes, by the way. It's not rendered properly because I'm running it at a high resolution. Higher than what's supposed to.
I can't believe Dash didn't make it later.
Thanks.
He was such a great
That was
pilot.
a 40-45 with a timer break in the middle.
It's a 40-45. It's really not bad considering all the bad RNG I got.
It's rough. It reset and I had to just start it at a random point.
That's okay. But it was fun, and if you haven't had your fill of Star Wars, I'm going to be doing another Star Wars video game next called Star Wars Dark Forces, so stick around for that.